what's your quickish take on China? Because I'm sure we could talk hours on it. But what is China actually doing versus what are we being told that they're doing? And, maybe Taiwan's a good example as far as what's actually happening versus what we're told is happening there. What is your take?
Yeah, that's a good question. Okay. That's a good question. And it goes to this idea that we're being fed propaganda by the American media again. In 1977, President Jimmy Carter announced that we would adopt the One China policy. We dropped our diplomatic representation in Taipei, and we recognized the Beijing government as the legitimate representative of the Chinese people. It was a big deal. The Taiwanese were thrown off the UN Security Council. The Chinese entered the UN Security Council, and we recognized one China that someday will be reunited after a period of negotiations. Okay? And we formally exchanged ambassadors with the Chinese in 1979. Done. So in the intervening years, we've maintained a very large, what's called an American interest section in Taipei. We don't have an ambassador there. We have a U.S. trade representative and a consul general. And everybody's been happy, right? We don't call it an embassy. We don't call it official representation. But at the same time, we have very robust trade relationships with the Taiwanese and vice versa. And we sell them lots and lots and lots of weapons and F-16s and F-18s. So why don't we just leave well enough alone? Why have we decided that now we also want to stick our thumb in the eye of the Chinese? Why? Why upset the apple cart? I just don't see what the United States gains by deliberately sabotaging our diplomatic relations with China. It doesn't make any sense. And this is not specific to either Republicans or Democrats. They're both doing it. Donald Trump unleashed these new sanctions on China, which made no sense at the time. Maybe the idea of trying to protect the American farmer made sense. I would concede that. But these other sanctions just didn't make any sense at all. And in fact, they've harmed American manufacturers and producers, for example, of wines. We just can't sell American wine in China anymore. Just can't do it. Why has never been explained. We're just told to get with the program and to support the decision that's been made here in Washington. Both parties say the same thing. Another thing that's bothered me very much in terms of sticking our thumb in the eye of the Chinese, and both parties are doing it, it's these high-level visits to Taiwan. This is something that generally isn't done. If a governor makes a visit to Taiwan, it's always as part of a trade mission. Totally cool, because your state is producing goods. You want to sell your goods to Taiwan. You're the chief executive officer of your state. By all means, go to Taiwan and sell them your grapes or your wheat or your, whatever. Your shoes, whatever. There's no reason for Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House to go to Taiwan. There's no reason for Mike Pence to go to Taiwan as a presidential candidate and a former vice president of the United States. There's no reason for Kevin McCarthy to go to Taiwan. And then when Nancy Pelosi went, the Biden administration lied to the American people. This was a bald-faced lie by saying, oh, we didn't know she was going because she's the Speaker of the House. It's a different branch of government. That's bullshit. I'll tell you how it works. The highest ranking State Department officer in any country around the world is called the Chief of Mission. Sometimes that's an ambassador. Usually it's an ambassador. Sometimes it's a Deputy Chief of Mission, DCM, or Chargé d'Affaires, or in the case of Taiwan, the Chief Trade Representative. And what happens is, if you want to go to that country and you work in any capacity in the American government, you have to send something called a country clearance cable. So you send a letter to the State Department and you say, hi, my name is Nancy Pelosi. I would like to visit Taiwan. And they'll cut and paste that into a cable and they send it to the Chief of Mission, in Taiwan and say, Nancy Pelosi wants to visit Taiwan. She is the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives. And this is just pro forma. This is just so it's on the record. And then the Chief of Mission will send something called a welcome cable. And it says, Chief of Mission Taipei welcomes the upcoming visit of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. John Kiriakou has been assigned to be your control officer. He will pick you and your delegation up at the airport, blah, blah, blah. Okay, number one, the State Department knows that you're doing this because they've approved it. Number two, nobody as senior in the American government as the Speaker of the House can make any international trip anywhere without the National Security Council knowing about it. And if the National Security Council knows about it, that means it's been approved by the Oval Office, Executive Office of the President, EOP. They've approved it. On top of that, Nancy Pelosi let slip that she was taking a military aircraft. So the Secretary of Defense has also approved it and has allocated assets for her to make this trip. Nancy Pelosi did not drive to Dulles Airport and get on a United flight to Taipei. That's not how it works. Literally everybody at the White House, the State Department, and the Defense Department knew she was going and approved of the trip. So the fact that the president said that she was she's in a different branch of government. I didn't know anything about any trip. She's just going on her own. That is nonsense. This is part of a well-coordinated policy to put pressure on the Chinese. But then you have to ask yourself what the point of the policy is. Again, what the point is has not been articulated to the American people. Why do we want to challenge the Chinese Navy in the Taiwan Straits? And then we object when the Chinese send a ship off the coast of Cuba. Why do we want to challenge the Chinese or anger the Chinese by ramping up arms sales to the Taiwanese? What do we gain out of this? How does this make us stronger? How does this improve our economy? How does this keep the American people safer? No party has ever articulated this. So I feel very strongly about this China policy. It's a failure. Both parties have failed. Not just failed to articulate, failed to implement in any smart way why we have decided to challenge the Chinese and to cast doubt on the one China policy after decades of claiming that it was working.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. I'm looking for partners, collaborators, colleagues who want to join forces with me around the globe and create real value, generational wealth, and financial freedom for everyone else around the world. Get involved in the cryptocurrency markets, get involved in the NFT markets. This is your moment. Life all comes down to a few moments. Don't let this pass. Now it's not too late. Next year is going to be too late. Ultimately, this is about freedom. That's the way I see it. This is about giving power back to the people and enabling billions of people worldwide to use the financial markets to improve their lives and those of their friends and their families and their communities. Honestly, I think it's a violation of human rights not to allow people
basic access to financial services. Because right now people are being kept in the dark, they're being robbed of education, and it's a travesty. And so I'm looking for people that want to join me and be a part of this solution. And that all happens inside the DeFi Academy. The gains my students are making are absolutely amazing. Double, triple digit gains in the first month alone. That's amazing. This will change your life. Now is the time to get involved. I'm going to tell you exactly how my students in my academy made money in the last 30 days. I'm talking about real trading results. And let me just whet your appetite a little bit. Let me hit you with some numbers. I'm talking Brendan from New Zealand is up 68.77% on the month. Steve from Europe up 83%. Albert in Singapore up 169.9% on one single trade. I got Susan up 153% on her call options alone, also rocking 139% returns and 442% returns as well on individual trades. These are people that are changing their financial future in the last 30 days, but it's based on trading discipline.
I've graduated over 500 students from inside my academy from over 54 countries around the world. It's amazing. When it comes to crypto, DeFi, and blockchain, we love this space. We truly believe it's the future. This is down to our core. It's authentic to what we're doing, and everybody can tell through the camera because you can't make this stuff up.
If you're watching me now, wherever you are, I implore you, take 60 seconds right now and join my academy. Apply today. Now you've got a chance. Life all comes down to a few moments. What are you going to do? What's the choice that you're going to make?